Hello, welcome back to my channel. As you see, we have a new setup because I am not in my old apartment. I have moved, not into my own place. That is, fingers crossed, that's the next move. Back at my parents' house. Honestly, like that is also a topic that I want to talk about in a different video, just when things and surprises happen in your life and how to adapt and adjust and look on the bright side, because a lot of times it's very difficult to look on the bright side when things are going left. Today, we are going to talk about how to be selective with your energy, especially as highly sensitive, emotional people. You know, it has taken me a while to accept the fact that I am a sensitive person. I'm very in tune with my emotions and feelings, and that's okay. There's this TikTok that I have seen so many times and it literally cracks me up. It's this guy talking about how he always thought he was nonchalant, but he met a nonchalant person and he realized he's very chalant. Like, I am very chalant. I have always, like tried to be unbothered, but that has never worked out in my favor because frankly, I can't. Like, my emotions are just too connected and I'm too observant of my emotions for me to be nonchalant. A lot of times when you are more sensitive and in tune with your emotions, you get hurt a lot more. I want us to learn how to stop allowing certain things to impact our emotions, certain things that really don't need to take up so much space in our heart and in our mind. So today we are talking about how to be selective with your energy, because look, the seasons are about to change, moods are changing, vibes are changing, and honestly, you might be in the spirit of doing a little bit of housekeeping. You know how everyone does like spring cleaning and also fall cleaning. I think this is the perfect time to like really look within yourself and think about what are certain things you want to change, certain things you want to continue doing, certain things you want to improve. For me, like, I know there are a ton of changes that I need to make in my own life, and the first thing is this: being aware of my sensitivities and not allowing certain people, certain things, certain situations impact my moods so drastically that I start crying. Like, look, growing up, my nickname was Waterworks because I was a crybaby, and I still am a crybaby. Unfortunately, I still be crying. Certain things like will rock me to my core, and there are certain situations that I really cannot be in because I will feel very emotional. I don't want to put myself in those situations that are really like attacking my feelings. And so if you are interested in learning how to protect your energy and also how to like detach, but like as a sensitive person, keep watching. So I think a lot of times we really like to blame our emotions and get mad at ourselves for being emotional and for being upset that certain things impacted us in a certain way. And it's like, look, we're humans, we're not robots. Certain situations, certain people are going to impact you in a certain way. The best thing to do is accept the fact that you are not a cold stone person. You have feelings that are circulating all around you. And for some of us, like me, we've always, like I said, told ourselves that this is a bad thing. Being an emotional person is a bad thing. You hear it in all of these stereotypes. People label emotions as a deterrent, as something that really hinders you from growing, from being a person, when in reality, we all have emotions. Like, point blank period, we all have emotions. I think it's honestly way more impactful when you're able to accept the fact that your emotions do play an important role. And it's really important to own your sensitivities, especially as highly sensitive people, because guess what? It's not a crutch, it's not a nuisance. It is your superpower. I like to talk a lot about reframing your thinking. So many books that I'm reading in terms of like self-development, life, all that kind of stuff, they really emphasize the importance of reframing. It really allows you to shift your thinking into more of an effective, efficient way of going about life versus being stuck in these thoughts that don't let you go anywhere. Like, it's kind of like you're stuck in mud when you continue to think a certain way, but when you reframe the way you're thinking, it allows you to think more abundantly and just realize there's so many more possibilities. And this is what I tell myself all the time. Like, look, guys, these videos, when I tell you, like, they're for me and for you, like, these are like pep talks for me and for y'all. But anyways, what I was saying is, when I finally, and when I say finally, like, this literally happened like last week, but when I finally decided to reframe the way I thought about like how sensitive and emotional I am, I decided to stop thinking about my emotions as like a crutch or as like this negative part of me and switched it to, okay, these emotions are telling me something. So they are literally like my GPS navigation system. That's what it is. It's just like this internal guide telling me that certain things are off and you shouldn't be in these certain situations. So instead of getting mad at myself for being emotional, I need to be happy that these emotions are telling me that the situation is bad for me or this certain person is not so good for me. So I really want y'all to like reframe your thinking about your emotions, especially if you like beat yourself up because you feel like you're so sensitive. No, it's not a bad thing to be sensitive. The benefits that I have found from me being an emotional person is one, like I trust my gut so much more. I think I should take a step back. Like my gut, my intuition is so loud, so clear. And I really think it is linked to me being a lot more emotional and sensitive to like how I'm feeling. And like your intuition is literally your internal, it is your internal GPS. It is your sixth sense. It is telling you right from wrong. Like you cannot trick me. You cannot trick me. And the sad part is that I have second guessed my gut way too many times. Every time I second guess my gut is when I'm like, okay, wow. I literally like just should have went with how I was feeling in that initial moment, because now I'm dealing with the fallout of the situation because I didn't trust my gut. So I was doing some research on the gut and intuition because I really am interested in learning more about how all of this comes together to help us as humans walk through life. I found this article on Literary Hub. I'm gonna read this quote that I really stuck with. And it says that many studies in psychology tell us that intuition is a very real process where the brain makes use of past experiences along with internal signals and cues from the environment to help us make a decision. Your body, look, like your body is telling you what to do, so don't divert from it. It's an alarm blaring, so don't ignore it. Like, why ignore an alarm that is telling you to do X, Y, Z? You are definitely a lot more observant of how people are around you, which is why like you're always putting people first, or you're always thinking about how people are feeling. Other people are always on your mind, people that you care about. And so that observation is just like on constantly 24/7. You are noticing little things about how people are like maybe responding to you when you're talking, or their reactions, facial reactions. It's just a lot of observation happening. And sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming, but being observant is such a huge skill, such a huge benefit. Like when you're going through life unaware, naive, ignorant to certain things, I feel like it seems like life is a lot easier, but in reality, like you aren't aware of what's happening and you might miss certain keys or cues from people. You might miss, like if somebody is looking at you a certain way, you might miss that. But we really need to be careful with who is able to witness and be a part of our energy. We are so in tune with our emotions. And so when someone hurts us, or when we feel like people aren't reciprocating, or if we feel like we're being put in situations that just aren't good for our hearts, it like really rocks us to our core, which is why we're always crying and sensitive and emotional. The catch-22 is like, we can't fight the fact that we are very emotional people who are always gonna care about people. We are selfless people to an extent. Certain things that I want us to be more aware of are like energy vultures. I know some of y'all have probably heard of the word energy vampires, but when I was thinking about this video, the word or the phrase energy vultures came to my mind. Like we all know vultures are creepy. Vultures are a sign of negativity, of death, of things we do not want to be associated with. And I think that's why I use the word vultures versus vampires, because we don't want to be associated with people who are literally sucking the life out of us. I think energy vultures can be intentional and unintentional. So we'll start with the intentional energy vultures. These are the people who, look, they want to either be you, they're jealous of you, they want to humble you, dim your light. Be careful of people who like jokingly say, oh, I want to humble you, I'm trying to humble you, or something along those lines, because those people, you do not want them in your life, because once you start caring about them, they will disappoint you time and time again, and you will be crying and upset all the time. And we, like, as emotional, sensitive people, we do not need too many negative emotions spiraling in our core, in our body, because like once we feel those emotions, we feel it everywhere for days. We have to really be cautious of who is able to access our heart and our feelings and our emotions. Yeah, these intentional energy vultures, you are probably always worried, always stressed about like what you mean to them. If they care about you, you're probably like upset because they don't reciprocate. Maybe they come off as wishy-washy. Like that wishy-washiness really messes with my brain. And honestly, like these days, I can't. I have to like take a step back from people who I feel are wishy-washy, because it like puts more stress on me than it does on them. And look, in this world, in this day and age, as sensitive people, we can't be stressing about them. Let them stress about you, but we can't be stressing about them, because it's just too much. I think unintentional energy vultures, I don't think they initially became close to you because they wanted to take away your energy, they wanted to humble you, whatever. But they probably caught on to the fact that you are someone who lets little things slide. Me. They realized, oh, I can just continue these habits, because you're never calling them out, you're never saying anything about it. And so they just continue these patterns of behavior that really irritate you. I feel like unintentional energy vultures, you really need to assess like your friendship, your relationship with that person, to see if you really want to cut them off or take a step back, or more importantly, which I think would be the best option, to like really talk to them, sit them down, and let them know like certain behaviors that they're doing are not really vibing with you. They're not what you're looking for in a friend or spouse or partner or whatever. Like I said previously, we often let things slide a lot because we don't want to be that person who is always like calling our friends out or our partner out for their habits or their behaviors, which seem to be little, but for us, these little habits, they end up building up into an avalanche. So we really need to step up and tell people how we're truly feeling. Another reason why we really need to be careful about who is around us when it comes to our energy is stress. I don't know who stresses more than people who are highly sensitive. You're trying to like close off your emotions, but like you can't help the fact that you are emotional. And so it's just like a battle between like you trying to be nonchalant, your true self, your true emotional self, like fighting against each other, trying to figure out like who's gonna come on top. It's really important that we own our sensitivities, honor our emotions. And look, when stress is ongoing, that can lead to chronic illnesses. So at the end of the day, it is so much easier to own the fact that you are just very in tune with your emotions and just allow your emotions to bubble as they do instead of like locking it away. One thing I realized while working on this video is that all the time that I've spent worrying about like friends or whatever, worrying about people, worrying if they care about me, worrying if they're gonna invite me to this event, whatever. All that time I spent, I realized those are distractions. Oh my God, all the time that I spent worrying and feeling frustrated, I could have spent working on so many other tasks, doing so many other things that would have helped me achieve all these other goals that I have in life. Because at the end of the day, we shouldn't allow people to access these emotions so easily. And if I had been so comfortable with myself, with the fact that my emotions are very high, I would have saved so much time and I would have had less stress in my head, because I wouldn't have had to feel so frustrated that certain people didn't want to be my friend. And that's, at the end of the day, you don't have to worry about these people. I really hope you guys take these thoughts into consideration. If you're feeling a bit off with like maybe your friendships or your relationships, if you feel like you're always stressing about certain people, analyze these situations. See if you are putting too much thought and care into certain people who don't deserve that, because your peace is necessary and it is so essential to living the life that you want. I hope you enjoyed this video. I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders ever since like I said, this was last week, but ever since I finally came to terms with the fact that I'm a pretty sensitive person and not everybody needs to be in my circle. And not everyone deserves all of the care that I can give. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.